I've been to Triglyph a bunch of times, but somehow I still always manage to get lost. How about you? Were you heading to the station too?
I work at the station's cafeteria. What about you?
Me? Just going on a little field trip. I was invited to the opening of the Oscorp plant.
Wow.
Oh, I'm not some great scientist or anything. I was only invited because an acquaintance of mine is involved. So, as a cafeteria insider, any takeout options you could recommend? I've heard the Triglyph tri-tip is something of a local delicacy. I've been to... Hey, wait! I'm gonna get you for canceling on me, Leia. So, hey. Did you know that girl? Is it okay to leave her like that?
Just a total stranger who framed me for kidnapping.
You? A kidnapper? Yeah, I don't buy that. Though, if it's true, I'll have to give you some of what those terrorists have coming for them.
Huh?
Well, I suppose we don't really have time to worry about that right now. Let's get going. So, did you...
Not at all. Just a chance meeting.
Huh. Don't you think it's odd that a child that age would be traveling alone? I wonder if she got separated from her parents. Well, I suppose we don't really have time to worry about that right now. Let's get going. Is that your cat?
Yeah.
I thought she was with that girl.
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid.
Hey, Elle's all alone, isn't she?
Probably. And it's way too dangerous to leave her by herself.
I don't recall asking you to care.
Huh?
Nothing.
Is that...
Yeah.
I thought...
Her parents might have been killed by the terrorists.
No, I came here all by myself. My mommy's already dead. And Daddy... I'm not saying. I don't want his enemies to find out. There's so much blood!
We're not his enemies, I promise. And you don't have to say anything if you don't want to.
Good, 'cause I won't.
You know, the way you looked there...
It was really freaky. You looked like a bad guy.
It reminded me more of a spirit.
That wasn't like any spirit I've ever heard of.
Spirits are mysterious beings that act as conduits between people and nature. They're rare here on Olympius, but they're quite common where I'm from, in Rizamaxia.
Freaky things like that are common?
Spirits do command great power, but they're no enemy to us. And I assure you, Elle, Luger's neither scary nor a bad guy. I mean, he looks after his cat, doesn't he?
Is that true?
When I came to, Rideau had already finished treating us. I trusted him because he said he worked for Spirius. I had no idea he would be like that.
This is my treasure, but we could sell it.
What is it?
This. If you sell it, we can pay our debts.
It's lovely, but it's just a seashell.
It isn't worth anything? It took me a whole day to find it.
You don't need to worry about this.
I am worried. Money's a big deal. If you don't have money, you can't buy food, and they can chase you out of your house.
I'm with Elle on this one. We'll try to help you out.
Yeah, I'll help.
Howdy-ho, Luger! Anyway, just calling to chat. You know, just a personal phone call. I hadn't seen you in forever, and we didn't even get a chance to catch up, you know? I know things back there got a wee bit awkward, but it was really great to see you again. Don't be a stranger, all right? Toodles!
She sure is hyper.
Uh-huh.
That was weird, though. She was on that train with us, and yet, just now, she acted like that didn't even happen. When I came, I trusted. It's...
Nova's a friend of mine. She'll make this right.
You think that Nova woman will help? She was just a classmate, right? It's not like you two are dating.
Nova here, and my ears are burning up. Luger, were you talking about me?
Oh, she knew! Maybe she is close with Luger.
Anyway, just calling to chat. You know, just a personal phone call. I hadn't seen you in forever, and we didn't even get a chance to catch up, you know? I know things back there got a wee bit awkward, but it was really great to see you again. Don't be a stranger, all right? Toodles!
She sure is hyper.
Uh-huh.
That was weird, though. She was on that train with us, and yet, just now, she acted like that didn't even happen.
Hey, Ludes! Nova here with some good news! With that payment you just made, I was able to lift the travel restriction on Duval Station! Just keep those payments flowing, and everything will go nice and smooth! You go, Luger!
She doesn't take things very seriously, does she?
Luger, you and Julius live together, right? Just the two of you? I mean the two of you and Rolo. So, the three of you.
Yeah.
That's just like me. Me and my daddy lived together. When I was little, there was an old cat called Taddy that lived with us, too.
Where do you live, Elle? I promise we won't tell your enemies.
I don't even know. The boat I was on stopped, and there were all these crates there marked to Triglav. I hid in one, and that's where I ended up.
So you don't know how to get back home. I never imagined that'd be how I'd run into Ivor again.
How do you even know that freak? And why does he drop down on people like that?
Yeah, sorry about that.
How can you laugh about it, Luger? He knocked you on your butt like it was nothing.
Ivor's a very skilled warrior. As Maxwell's handmaid, he had to be.
Maxwell's handmaid?
It's kind of a long story.
I see. Sounds complicated.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been, but it was. Even though we both wanted the same thing.
Exclusive expose. The terrible untold truth behind terrorist train tragedy. Investigative journalist Leia Rolando unravels the shocking mystery.
Leia, what are you writing?
Just jotting down some notes for an article.
An article? You're like a reporter.
Hey, there's no like about it.
But those aren't articles, they're just dramatic headlines. You can't write a story to match a predetermined conclusion.
Hey, professional journalists don't accept unsolicited advice from amateurs, mister.
So as a professional, are you hitting your deadlines? You can't just copy off my homework the morning before class like you used to.
Zip it, Jude. Why do you hate the free press so much?
What does any of this have to do with the free press? I'm talking about professional responsibility here.
What's with Jude and Leia? They're like...
A married couple.
Married? Whatever could you be talking about? Seriously now, do we really look like that?
Wow, Leia's strong.
Oh, sorry. It wasn't on purpose.
In Leia's case, the staff is mightier than the pen. Leia?
Just hey.
So,
What?
A mother and daughter.
A mother and daughter? I never knew my mom, so I wouldn't really know.
Elle, I'm sure your mom was just like everyone else's. They're naggy and kind, and they care about their children more than anything in the world. That's what a mom is.
I know that. My mom was totally like that.
good save, Leia.
Thanks, but let's try to be a little more sensitive when dealing with a young lady's feelings, gentlemen. Huh? Why's my editor calling? Oh no! I totally spaced on my deadline!
And now you know why people think I'm like Leia's mother.
Well, well. Looks like I can lift another one of those pesky travel restrictions. But only one. So, Marksburg or Helioborg? What's it gonna be?
Let's go with Marksburg.
Roger that. Ah, Marksburg. The slender thread that ties Olympias to Riza Maxia. I've never been there myself. You gotta tell me what it's like. Send me a postcard or something, will ya? By the way, just a teensy bit more, and I might be able to lift the other restriction too. Toodles! But
Let's lift it on Helioborg.
you got it! But seriously, Helioborg? That lab where they developed the new Spyrix stuff? Sounds like a drag to me, Ludes. But you always did have weird taste. Must be Julius's influence. By the way, just a teensy bit more, and I might be able to lift the other restriction too. Toodles!
So, you're friends with His Highness?
Indeed I am. I serve at King Gaius' side as his prime minister.
What's that?
He's sorta like the king's regent. That makes him the #2 guy in all of Riza Maxia.
The king's regent. But in fairy tales, the regent's always the villain.
Hey, you're right. They're always secretly trying to steal the kingdom or mess with the king.
How could a mere child see through my ambitions?
Huh?
It's true. As you've suspected, I derive great pleasure from toppling kings. I remove their pawns one by one as my loyal knights advance from the sides to flank them.
We have to warn His Highness!
Of course, I'm talking about chess.
What? Your regents really are mean.
Rowan is pretty much always like this. Whenever I come to Marksburg, it always seems to be bursting with energy.
That's wonderful to hear. The city was built to enable these sorts of lively commercial and cultural exchanges.
But it's so weird. Even the ocean split in two.
That's where the schism used to be. It was a giant barrier that split Riza Maxia off from Olympias.
Oh, right. And you're all from Riza Maxia. That's why you can use spirit hearts.
Spirit arts. Unfortunately, Olympians often seem to view the use of spirit arts as something strange or sinister.
The schism is gone, but it's already been replaced by a new barrier of prejudice and contempt.
What do you think, Elle? Do we seem scary or horrible to you?
No, neither. There are plenty of weird people in Olympias too, you know, like Luger.
Worry not, Jude. The barriers of which you speak will not survive Elle's generation.
Right? You just leave everything to me.
Looks like you've had quite a makeover there, Elise.
Oh, Dracelle brought me these clothes for my Olympias trip.
And she and her friends at school all got matching ribbons.
Look at you being all social.
What about you? For a merchant, you look kinda shifty.
My partner is the nice guy type, so I get to be the bad cop. What can I say? The role fits.
Look at you being all social!
I see Tipo is with you again.
Yeah, she locked me away for a while there.
My friends and I promised we'd show each other our plush dolls on this trip.
She wants everyone to see my cuteness.
Huh?
Because Chipo's adorable, isn't he?
Isn't he?
He sure is. Love those little horns.
Uh-oh.
They're not horns. They're ears.
Renowned for my softness, yet he talks about horns?
I said the exact same thing once.
You two really are birds of a feather. Looks like...
Oh,
And
Look,
what?
my...
yeah, she is...
He's not as cute as Rolo is.
I see. Well, Rolo certainly is cute.
Luger, you sure are competitive.
Well, he's a cat person. They take this sort of thing seriously.
But I'm so soft and squishy!
Your master's a stubborn one, Rolo. These Exodus dolts just won't give up. They're causing trouble all over the place.
I thought they just wanted to go home. Now that they're back, why are they still fighting?
Well, a lot of them found they didn't have a home to return to. That's a hard pill to swallow, so they put it all on Maxia and the peace-seeking government of Olympias. Sometimes it's easier to blame others than to move forward yourself.
And that's not all. Exodus has been recruiting heavily from a new generation of disaffected Olympians.
Olympias is a nation in decline. There's no shortage of discontent for Exodus to mine. The collision with Maxia just gave the disaffected a new direction in which to focus their anger.
You make it sound so hopeless.
Don't get me wrong. I don't intend to sit by and let this continue. Thanks to all of you, I finally made it back to my home. I'm sure as hell not gonna let these idiots ruin it.
Alvin, you've changed.
You're moving forward!
With a little help from my friends.
Hey! Since you've kept up with your debt payments, you've been given permission to travel to the Helioborg research station. You're the talk of the office. Not many people manage to keep up with their payments like that.
Wow, that's high praise.
It sure is! I knew I could count on Julius's little brother.
Bisley Bakor certainly lives up to his reputation.
He certainly makes an impression. He's like...
The King of Olympias.
That's not far from the truth.
Bakor casts a heavy shadow over the world of Olympian politics. If he wanted to, he could probably topple the government or single-handedly start his own war.
I've been reading back issues of the paper, and it seemed like the Spurious Corporation was a driving force behind the Otherworld reactor plan. But as soon as the schism was destroyed, they immediately switched sides to back Marcia's moderate government.
I wonder what they hope to achieve with that change.
This doesn't sound like any king I've ever heard of.
Well, regardless, he's Luger's boss now. Let's just make sure we're the ones using him and not the other way around.
That makes sense. We can't accomplish much without him.
But be careful. I don't think that Bakor was lying, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't telling us everything either.
I agree.
Bisley Bakor...
A boss of a sinister organization.
I think so too. He's like the villain on Beach Brigade Sunscreen Rangers.
Who?
Well, he's like this evil genius who makes fish paste products from dead fish and uses them to rule the seafood industry. But the Sunscreen Rangers will fight him to the death to defend the beach so that they have dead fish to eat.
They're fighting to save dead fish from the seafood industry?
It was a classic Olympian action series. Palin collected all the toys.
I used to watch it with my daddy.
And Beasley Bakor resembles that.
Well, Regardless, he's Luger's boss now. Let's just make sure we're the ones using him and not the other way around.
That makes sense. We can't accomplish much without him.
But be careful. I don't think that Bakur was lying, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't telling us everything either.
I agree.
Hey! Since you've kept up with your debt payments, you've been given permission to travel to Marksburg. You're really chipping away at that debt. Not many people handle it this well.
She's praising you.
Yep. I knew I could count on Julius's little brother. Nova here with the latest and greatest. You are now free to travel as far as Alati Sea Haven. You keep making those payments, and we keep unlocking sea havens. Go forth, hardy menfolk, and conquer the sea!
She talks like I'm not even here.
I guess that's kind of sexist, isn't it? You go forth too, hardy womenfolk, and conquer the sea as well!
Oh, I've never been to sea before.
Seriously? You gotta check it out! The sea is awesome! It's so big, and large, and grand!
Luger, let's go conquer the sea! A great spirit that lives in the land of Canaan. We gotta find this Chronosky and ask him where Canaan is.
You're really obsessed with that place, aren't you?
What's wrong with that? I've got a one-track mind.
You do?
Do you even know what that means?
I know it means something good. Daddy used to say that Mommy had a one-track mind, too. He says I'd take after her.
Must have made for quite a marriage.
Did you say something?
No, not at all. Just that I, envy your old man.
Right?
You sure love your daddy.
I don't love him that much, but he really seems to like me. So, I've got to keep the promise I made to him, no matter what. A great... What's...
I suppose that's true, in a way.
But sometimes you shouldn't pursue things too intently. Like how a woman can stifle a man with too much attention, when, in reality, he just needs a little space to sow his wild oats.
Alvin? You're telling this to a child?
You want to know what my daddy said? Don't ask anyone for anything that you wouldn't be willing to give them yourself.
Oh. Yeah, he's right. That was always my problem.
Right?
You sure love your daddy.
I don't love him that much, but he really seems to like me. So, I've got to keep the promise I made to him, no matter what.
Vera from Spurious Corporation here. We've detected a new fractured dimension. As a dimensional agent, you've been assigned the task of eliminating it. This is your first mission, so please make sure that you're fully prepared. Then come to the Spurious building.
Think we'll find Glasses Guy there? Oh, or maybe the spirit that lives in the land of Canaan.
So it seems Luger's Chromatus is the key to destroying these fractured dimensions.
And our job is to gather information and support Luger in combat.
Yes, we'll do everything we can to help.
We're the wind beneath your wings!
You guys aren't scared of Luger's weird powers? Like, at all?
I have something of a knack for encountering weirdness.
The Lord of Spirits, dimensional breaches.
Talking stuffed animals?
I bet Jude said pretty much the same thing, didn't he?
You called it. He did say that, didn't he?
Yeah.
But it still scares me to be destroying worlds.
Myself as well. The enormity of such a deed is almost more than I can grasp.
But we've been through too much to turn back now, whatever the sin we have to bear.
I can't believe that Olympias has great spirits too.
In fossil or spirite form, sure, I could see that, but a physically manifested great spirit? Didn't see that coming.
I would imagine that its existence here is only due to this being a fractured dimension.
What kind of spirit is Aska supposed to be?
It's said to be the great spirit that commands the power of light.
I hope its temperament is sunny too.
I've learned not to expect too much from the temperaments of great spirits. I've had a bad experience or two.
Tell me about it.
Rowan, are there many other great spirits?
Well, we've encountered the 4 great spirits of earth, water, fire, and wind, as well as the great spirits Celsius of ice and Volt of lightning. I've also read about Shadow, the great spirit of darkness, and Pluto, ruler of the underworld.
And don't forget Muse, and then Lord Maxwell, who rules over them all.
That's what most people believe. But some scholars believe there may be a great spirit even stronger than Maxwell.
Stronger than Maxwell? Do they mean Kronos?
I believe the possibility is high.
Well, let's hope we never run into that guy then. How are things looking in town?
The town and its residents both appear exactly as they do in our world. The only difference is that no one seems to be aware of Riza Maxia's existence.
But outside of that, everyone seems to be living the exact same lives. The same earth, the same ocean, the same sky. Luger, if you destroy this dimension, doesn't that mean...
Everyone within it will die.
We'd be killing millions of people.
Don't make it into such a big deal. This place isn't even supposed to exist. It fractured off our own dimension. We're just setting things right.
Yeah, but still...
If you let sentiment sway you, you'll never be able to get the job done.
Well, I guess you're more of an adult than I am.
You didn't need to provoke her like that.
I think I kinda did. Someone needs to be the bad guy, and I've had more practice than most. After all, it wouldn't be fair to let poor Luger take all the heat for this.
Thanks.
How are things looking?
But this...
You don't need to worry about that, Leia.
Don't worry about it? Don't you understand what we're doing? Luger.
He wants to take full responsibility for what'll happen to the people of this world.
They'll all die.
Are you ready for that, Leia?
I don't know. Even if we all share it, that's still more responsibility than we could possibly bear.
Still, better to share the burden than to force him to shoulder it alone.
Yeah.
What happened with your job at the station? I see. So you entered this dimension deliberately. You're an agent of Bakur's, or rather, of the Spurious Corporation.
The same job as you, Julius.
I see. I've always strived to be a brother you could be proud of. Now that seems to have backfired spectacularly. Luger, everything has a dark side. That includes the Spurious Corporation. And it includes me. You don't need to explore our dark side. In fact, you need to stay the hell out of it. Luger. Rolo. You're right. I shouldn't treat him like a child. But I'm his big brother. I can't help it. Sorry. You don't need to hear my grumbling. Thanks, Rolo. You might be more mature than I am. What happened with your...
Beasley Bakur told me the truth, unlike you, Julius.
You overvalue truth. Sometimes ignorance is the greater treasure. I didn't have a choice in the matter. That man inflicted the truth upon me along with the duties that went with it. I was determined not to do the same to you. Luger. Rolo. You're right. I shouldn't treat him like a child. But I'm his big brother. I can't help it. Sorry. You don't need to hear my grumbling. Thanks, Rolo. You might be more mature than I am.
So, are you Rolo's owner, or is it Glasses Guy here?
Julius.
That's right. I found him 3 years ago when he was still a newborn kitten. You remember that night, Luger? You'd just been shot down by a girl you liked and had run away from home.
Luger got rejected?
I'm afraid so. I went out searching for Luger and found him crouching over Rolo in some back alley. But didn't you and that Nova girl end up being friends?
Shh! Glasses Guy knows all sorts of interesting stories.
I'm glad you liked them, but is it really necessary to keep calling me Glasses Guy?
What, you can tease Luger, but you can't handle a nickname? Some mature big brother you are.
Oh.
So, are...
Me, of course.
I knew it. He seems to like Luger best.
That's not true. He only hovers around Luger like that because he's the one who makes his food.
What?
Rolo is smart enough to understand that his true owner is the one who pays for that food. But of course, the devotion he feels towards me runs far deeper than his food bowl. Isn't that right, Rolo?
Give it to me straight, Rolo. Who do you like best? He says he likes me best.
What?
Rolo, how could you?
Mila's sister is horrible. She's scary, and she's so mean to Mila.
Well, the Prime Dimension Muse is a bit different from the one here.
I can't believe Fractured Muse is somehow even worse than Prime Muse.
Fractured? Prime?
Enough already. What do any of you know about my sister?
Oh, I didn't... I'm sorry.
In this dimension, it's Mila who seems to be dependent on Muse.
How can you like her after what she said about your cooking? If I said something like that, my daddy would get really angry, and I bet he wouldn't like me anymore. So I'd never say something like that.
It's more complicated than that.
Even though you're siblings?
It's complicated because we're siblings.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's complicated because we're siblings. Is that how I sound?
A world with no schism. And when humans use Spyrex, spirits don't die.
That's because Mila left us a whole bunch of mana.
Of course, we still have plenty of problems.
But it's a whole lot better than being at war.
Are you sure about that? What guarantee do you have that this world will be better off than it was with the schism?
Well...
She has a point. There's no guarantee.
See? Not that I trust any guarantees coming from someone like you. A world and...
That's...
But what?
I'm surprised to hear that coming from Maxwell.
Well, you shouldn't be. At least not from someone who never even considered this as a possibility.
Mila, there are no guarantees in this world or in any other world. That just means we have to work all the harder to ensure that things work out the way we hope.
Do what must be done?
That's what I've been taught.
Well, isn't this world's Lord Maxwell just an inspiration to everyone?
La 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 la, I'm going to Canaan, I'm going to Canaan.
Well, aren't we in a good mood for no reason?
Bzz, wrong, I have plenty of reasons.
So what are they then?
Sorry, that's on a need-to-know basis. Isn't that right, Luger?
What's going on? Did something happen?
Sorry, that's on a need-to-know basis.
Suit yourselves. As if I really care anyway. Talk about an annoying duo.
She figured out we're a duo.
Is that your little secret?
No, and strictly speaking, we're partners.
Well, now I know that secret too, don't I?
Hey, you tricked me, you meanie. This is why you can't get a partner.
Who asked you? I'd rather be alone anyway. I don't need your pity. What are you laughing about?
Ow!
You two really are annoying.
La,
What?
sa. Isn't that right?
What's...
I promised her that I'd take her to Canaan.
Luger, why did you tell her?
So in other words, you've agreed to destroy more worlds.
Hey, don't get mad at him. We're doing all this together. No matter how hard the road is, we'll travel it together.
You sound like you're making marital vows.
And you sound like you're jealous.
Huh? What do I have to be jealous about? What are you laughing about?
Ow!
You two really are annoying.
Wow, Gaius, you really managed to adapt yourself to Olympius, huh? Hey, Erston, you've really managed to adapt yourself to Olympius, huh?
Yes, by posing as the scion of a wealthy family from a remote region of the country. They've taken to calling me the prodigal son down at the docks.
You've developed a whole character for yourself. I had no idea you were such a performer.
What's a prodigal son?
The world is in crisis and you're playing make-believe? Maybe you should take this a little more seriously.
Do you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, maybe you should.
If I were truly not taking this seriously, I would be sitting atop my throne in Canbalar, pursuing short-term benefits for Riza Maxia. I would be viewing incoming information about Olympius through a lens of suspicion and ignorance.
I see.
And that's why you're living out some fantasy life in enemy territory?
The Lord of Spirits braved any and all deadly lands without fear. Could a king of men dare to do any less?
His Highness really is a great man.
Al, you're not supposed to call him that.
Oh, His Prodigal Highness really is a great man.
Yeah, they...
What?
Maybe it's precisely because the world's in crisis that he needs to do this.
Indeed. Could a ruler who can't empathize with the lives of the citizenry be trusted in a time of crisis? His ignorance could lead his country to disaster.
A world in crisis means people in crisis. So the more you understand people, the better you can serve them.
So you understand.
As a journalist, I represent the common man.
His Highness really is a great man.
Al, you're not supposed to call him that.
Oh, His Prodigal Highness really is a great man.
It's freezing! Why does it have to be so cold here?
You can warm yourself by conserving the energy you use, flapping your tongue, and use it to move your body instead.
Must you always say such tedious things in such a tedious way?
Then your tedious grumbling makes us two of a kind.
You really are a delight. I'm guessing you don't have many friends, huh?
Friends? Indeed I do not.
That's not true. Weren't the Chimeriad your friends?
It's been a while since I've heard that name.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds cool.
Wingle, Agria, Zhao, and Pressa. They were Gaius's bodyguards, and they were all super powerful warriors.
Bodyguards? They sound more like henchmen than friends.
I suppose that's true.
Luger, come on!
That was cold, and that's coming from me.
Oh,
You're still young, Your Highness. I'm sure you'll make friends one day. You seem like a pretty good guy to me. Maybe I could be your friend if you want.
That's very generous of you.
Think nothing of it.
Whoa. Gaius just...
Laughed? Must you...
So where are they now?
Yeah, about that.
They aren't anywhere. They're all dead.
Oh.
Oh no.
It was during the war when they opened the schism. We were involved, too.
There's no need for you to feel responsible. Wingle, Zhao, Pressa, and Agria gave their own lives so that I could move forward with mine. The responsibility for their sacrifices rests solely with me, and I will not dishonor them by compromising my goals. That is all you need to know.
Right.
Vera here. I've got urgent news for you. Former Director Kruznik has stolen the Canaan waymarker you recovered.
What?
I've also been given a message for you from a man named Erston. It reads, "Meet me in front of the Spurious building."
The king!
We need to pursue Julius.
I'm pleased to hear it. Director Rideau's pursuit team has been dispatched to Alati Sea Haven. Please meet up with him there.
What?
Let's
see what Erston has to say.
Very well. We'll continue to pursue former Director Kruznik and keep you updated on our progress.
Luger! Good news! You're free to travel to Sapstrap Sea Haven. The payments keep rolling in, and everyone admires a man who pays his debts.
Oh, right! That's one step closer to Canaan.
Whoa, Al seems unusually fired up.
There's nothing unusual about it. Maybe you've grown so old, so you've forgotten what it's like to be excited.
Maybe you're right. I need to rediscover my passion. Ahem. Congratulations! You're cleared for Sapstrap Sea Haven! Woo! Go get him! You can do it! Roar!
Okay, that's just weird.
Vera here. We believe we've located former Director Julius, and presumably the waymarker he escaped with. Your assistance has been requested, Mr. Kruznik. Please meet with Director Rideau's pursuit team in Alati Sea Haven at your earliest convenience.
We have to get that waymarker.
Great job, Lutz. You've been cleared to travel to Lakudum Sea Haven. We're thrilled to see you keeping up with the payments. You know what they say. Everyone admires a dependable man.
My daddy said that too. He said I better marry someone dependable or he won't give his blessing.
Then again, if a guy's just Mr. Dependable all the time, it's welcome to Dullsville, population U.
Reliable, but somehow exciting. That must be the key.
Exactly.
Okay.
She has butterfly wings.
Aren't they great? But I'm not a bug, you know.
I know that. You're a spirit. Just like Mila's big sister.
She's not like her at all. My sister had an awe-inspiring presence.
My, aren't you rude?
I'll have you know that I used to be quite awe-inspiring.
I don't know if that's the word I would use.
She used to be a psychopath.
How come you're so different now?
I guess I finally figured out that I'm not alone.
You didn't realize that before?
I didn't. I was so miserable and scared from being alone that I did all sorts of horrible things.
Muse.
But now I have someone keeping me company, and she made me realize that I wasn't alone. She taught me that people, spirits, animals, and nature, we all live together, like one big family. So I decided that I wanted to protect this world, together with Mila.
That really is awe-inspiring.
See? Told you. Muse.
She had...
She's not...
I don't know how you used to be, but I like the way you are now.
Oh my, Luger. Are you hitting on me?
You're hitting on her?
Huh?
Calm down. She's obviously joking. Of course I was, but isn't that how all the best romances begin?
How would I know?
That was a joke, too.
I'm sure it was.
Come to think of it.
I like the way Muse is now, too.
Very here. Sorry to bother you again. That Erston fellow has come here demanding to speak to you several times. I told him how to contact you directly, but he didn't seem to understand how to work his GHS.
Think His Highness is angry?
He's waiting for you in front of the Spurious building. Wish him my best.
Big news! You've been cleared to travel to Laran Sea Haven and Drellin. In fact, I'm just about to head out to Drellin on a little business myself.
What kind of business?
A different kind. I'm a mighty busy girl. Hassling you isn't my only job, you know.
I feel ya. I've got a lot going on, too.
Luger, please? You have to help me. I'm in Drellin. Come to Drellin. No!
Was that Nova? It sounded like she was in trouble. I guess I'll never find my way home.
Don't worry. Luger will find it.
I didn't know the house where I was born either, but Jude and the others went and found it for me.
You didn't know where your own house was? You're just like a little kid.
How can you say that when you can't even find your own?
Well, it's not my fault I can't find it. I had to run away on a boat. There was a lot going on.
Well, it's not Elise's fault either.
I was an orphan. I grew up in government facilities.
An orphan?
I was an orphan too, Elise. I don't even know what my parents looked like.
You were too? So that's why Julius worries so much about you. Just like a father would.
Yeah.
Family ties can get so complicated.
But Luger, I was just thinking.
I think Glasses Guy only scolds you because he cares about you. My daddy is the same way. So even if he's a little annoying, you shouldn't hate him for it.
I think Elle's right.
Yeah. That means she doesn't have a mom or dad.
Elise doesn't even have a daddy?
But don't get sad for her.
I have lots of friends now, so I never get lonely.
That's good, but if you ever do get lonely, just tell me, okay? I'll let you borrow Luger for a while.
What?
I won't get jealous or anything. It's totally okay.
Thanks, Elle.
That's really big of you.
Yeah, I try.
How did that voice guy know that this is a fractured dimension?
If it wasn't you, then some other interloper probably told him.
You mean the fractured dimensions might have their own set of agents? That actually makes sense. We've already encountered another Mila, so why couldn't there be another Luger too?
But that Mila isn't the same Mila as our Mila.
Excuse me?
Although, she's just as scary.
But if agents from fractured dimensions were destroying each other's worlds, wouldn't the fracture problem take care of itself?
Kronos could be making more fractures than the agents can destroy.
How?
How would I know?
This is all way too complicated for me.
No kidding, I can't follow any of this. My head is starting to hurt.
You'd better start using that head of yours. Otherwise your brain will turn into pudding.
It will not, because I totally am using it.
That's the part you're denying? You're just letting the pudding thing slide?
Why are you getting mad at me? You're the one who said it.
She really is different from our Mila, isn't she? How did you that we but but what
How?
If so, that would be pretty tragic.
It really would. It would be a continuous cycle of destruction with no purpose.
And just who's deciding which destruction has a purpose? Are you that convinced of the supremacy of your dimension?
Well, I don't...
Stop pretending you're heroes and admit your motives are selfish. You owe that much to the people you're eliminating in order to save yourselves.
I'm sorry, Luger. I shouldn't have put it like that. But if the fractured dimensions are all different possible alternatives to this one, I wonder if any of them contain a world where we don't have to do this.
Thanks for helping out with the whole drowning thing, Lutz. Thanks to Jude's group, I was able to do the job I had to do.
They took care of the scary guy?
They sure did. He was sobbing like a baby as he paid in full. So, as a reward, I got you clearance to travel to Fenmont Sea Haven. Kinda meager, I know. Best I could do. Anyway, thank the gang for me.
This is the Department of Dimensional Affairs. We need you to return to Spirius as soon as possible.
Again? You can't just order Luger around like that.
Agreed.
We have located the final waymarker. Do hurry.
The final waymarker? Come on, Luger, you gotta get moving.
You think that's true? No two of the same thing can simultaneously exist in the prime dimension?
There's no definitive proof either way.
True.
Luger, what happened at the Xillia ruins?
Well, Rollo met another Rollo, and the Rollo with the weird voice disappeared. It was like our Rollo just replaced him.
Well, there you have it.
The other Mila entered the prime dimension, while our Mila was trapped in the dimensional abyss.
So she could be the cork in the bottle that's stopping our Mila from getting back in. It all adds up.
So if we return the other Mila to her fractured dimension...
But we already destroyed her dimension. And besides, once we enter a fractured dimension, we can't get back without destroying it.
Why does it have to be like this?
The way Rollo disappeared, I feel like I've seen it before. You don't look so good. Did you get hurt?
Elle, how would you feel if I killed your daddy?
Killed my daddy? My daddy can't die. I'm going to Canaan to save him. Daddy can't. I need my daddy.
Relax. It's a hypothetical question. It's not real.
If it's not real, then why would you ask it?
Sorry.
I guess I'll forgive you this time, but don't say weird things like that anymore.
I'm sorry. I won't. I used to be the Lord of Spirits. And look at me now.
What's wrong with being human?
Being human, huh? That's something I thought I wanted. But from the perspective of humans, I'll always be the former Lord of Spirits. Maybe not. Maybe it was just me hung up on that. Now my wish has come true. And all it took was to erase my world.
Hey.
I was mocking myself there. Don't worry, that wasn't directed at you. Relax. So
Elle really likes you, you know?
How is it that you can say such things with a straight face? Did Julius teach you that? You too, Rolo. Now I know that this is Julius's influence. Hey, don't go pushing that girl off on me. You're still her guardian. And I expect you to protect her with your life. You hear me?
Right.
Not that it's any concern of mine, of course. We have to hurry to Canaan. The purification process is reaching its limit.
Don't push yourself too hard, Mila.
As if having to battle Kronos wasn't bad enough, you've spent a great deal of time trapped in the dimensional abyss.
And do you think I'll listen when you tell me to take it easy?
Ah, well.
No, of course not.
That is correct. This is no time to falter. And besides, you promised Elle. Not to mention, the other me.
How strong is Kronos?
After taking physical form in the human realm, I set about searching for Kronos.
And you managed to find him, I gather?
No. He must have sensed my manifestation. And he found me. It took him no more than an instant to hurl me into the dimensional abyss.
That must have been just before we all met him.
There's no way to fathom how deep his powers go. But I can tell you this much. Of the three original spirits, Kronos' power is the strongest and most primal. More so than my own.
He commands a power more primal than the elements that compose our universe?
He is a terrible foe. But if he stands between us and the land of Canaan, a confrontation will be unavoidable. We have... And...
You know about the other Mila who was with us?
I do. I saw everything.
How could you? I thought you were trapped in the dimensional abyss.
I was. I tried using the power of the Four to return to the Prime Dimension, but couldn't.
Because the other Mila had come to the Prime Dimension.
The abyss between dimensions is a void of nothingness, bereft even of the elements. I could only drift through it using the power of the Four to protect myself. While in that coma-like state, I dreamt of Luger, the other Mila, and all of you. It was as if I was journeying right along with you.
How is that even possible?
I do not know myself, but her conflict and her wish came through quite clearly. Luger, everyone, I want you to lend your strength to me. Or should I say, to Mila Maxwell.
You couldn't stop us from helping even if you tried.
Our strength is yours to command.
So, you used to be Drisselle's stewer, Rowan? What kind of stews did you make?
Stewer? Is that even a word?
I wasn't her stewer. I was her steward.
Oh, I know that word. It's like a handmaid, right?
Steward...
Steward is another word for butler. I served Lady Drisselle, the Lord of Sherrilton.
A steward wears a pinafore dress and white gloves and prances around with a feather duster.
Huh? Rowan wears dresses?
Now, Elle. The human heart is extremely complex. You need to keep an open mind.
Wait, what?
It's quite a relief to hear you say that. At first, Lady Dressel had to force me to wear the dress, but when I saw my reflection, I was stunned by my beauty. On that day, I was truly born anew.
Huh?
Come now, Luger. Don't think too hard on such playful banter.
So...
Oh.
A rich, elegant lady. That's every man's dream.
Why, Luger, I had no idea.
My daddy always said I'm a beautiful young lady, too.
Luger, what do you think of Dressel? I could try and set you up with her.
Huh?
Don't be shy now. You two are the same age, after all.
Wait just a moment. Any prospective suitor of my Lady Dressel must complete my extensive screening process. First, you'll need to pass the 256 tests I've prepared for any aspirant to her hand.
Don't be so strict. I'll be vouching for him.
Then you'll need to be evaluated as a would-be matchmaker. There are 180 requirements, but you can pass with a score of 170 or above.
But I am the Lord of Spirits. Must I be tested so?
Of course. Lady Dressel is my greatest treasure, bequeathed to me by Lord Klein himself. She means more to me than life itself.
Wow, you sound just like my daddy, Rowan. Hey, Jude. What was that weird animal thing? Jude? Hello? What's his deal?
Mila, could you do something?
Very well. Jude.
Huh? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking about something.
You should stop. That line of thought won't lead you to the answers you seek.
Huh? What did you think I was thinking about?
About whether the profusion of spyrites was connected to your murder.
Yeah.
If they're unrelated, then that's that. Even if they are, that's a path you mustn't choose.
But what if it's my death that leads to spyrites replacing Spyrix technology?
Don't talk like that. Sure, it would be cute to have those weird little things everywhere, but I'd rather have you.
Do you understand now why you can't choose that option?
Because I need to be around to bring about the future we all yearn for. Because you won't be there to do it yourself.
Jude.
What? Why are you suddenly doing backflips?
Because you were spacing out.
Sorry about that. I was just thinking about those spyrites.
That's what you wanted to make all along, right? So, good job?
That's true, but I can't help but wonder if their development might be connected to, you know.
Can't you just be happy like a normal person? I don't like seeing you moping around like this. It reminds me of... Mila.
You're absolutely right, Elle. After all, now I know success is possible. I should be happy about that.
Exactly. Kind of like... On second thought, I'll think of a different example.
Well done, Mr. Kresnik. I have a message for you from President Bakor. I want to meet the real Maxwell. Bring her to Spirius. End quote. Please follow through at your earliest convenience.
All anyone cares about is the stupid Maxwell, Mila.
I'm sorry.
Drellin's so full of restaurants. The entire city smelled fantastic. Just thinking about it makes my stomach growl.
Really? At a time like this? Clearly all that time in the abyss did nothing to steady your metabolism.
Oh, food is the fundamental building block of life, Jude, and you can't fight on an empty stomach.
Everyone's talking about food, and now I'm hungry.
As am I. When do you imagine we'll be eating?
Your cooking has them all eating out of your hand, Luger.
Indeed. Although I understand that Elle's father is quite the cook in his own right.
He sure is. He's the best cook I've ever met in my life.
Defeating Luger in the kitchen is no easy feat. I hope I get the opportunity to try his cooking one day.
Well, if you're that eager, when I see him again, I'll ask him for you. Maybe he'll take pity on everyone and cook for all of you.
I certainly hope he does.
Well, that would be most generous of him.
Slaves to your appetites, the whole lot of you.
Elle's becoming a divergence catalyst? I don't understand how this could happen.
According to Victor, becoming a divergence catalyst is the price for using the clan's power beyond a certain limit.
If Elle is the daughter of Luger from a fractured dimension, that would make her part of the Kresnik family. But she doesn't even seem to have access to Chromatus powers.
Jude, you started to say something about this earlier. Do you remember what that was?
I do. The pocket watch is the key to manifesting the Chromatus, right? But when Luger first transformed into his Chromatus, it was Elle that was holding the watch.
So Luger has been using Elle as a conduit for his power.
Do you remember how Luger couldn't transform into his Chromatus when we first met the other Mila?
That's because Elle wasn't with us then.
So then Elle has been paying the price for Luger's use of the power.
But it goes without saying that Luger had no way of knowing this.
Still,
there was no way for any of us to know of this.
I'm sorry, Luger.
There's no need to apologize. Who could have possibly guessed that the Chromatus was linked to the catalysts like this?
Elle, dear, are you feeling okay?
I'm fine. Nothing matters anymore anyway.
Luger, how's the burn on your left hand?
it's Elle we should be worrying about.
I understand exactly how Elle feels. I've been there myself. Everything I'd done had been rendered meaningless. And convinced of that, I began lashing out at the people who were important to me.
You're speaking of when Mila died on the Zenithra.
Yeah. Leia was worried sick and trying to take care of me. And I threw the food she made for me against the wall.
I had no idea.
I figured Leia wouldn't say anything. I was awful to her. But she persisted in trying to take care of me. And that's the only reason I recovered at all. So please, keep looking after Elle. Do everything you can.
Okay.
Elle.
It's fine. Call it karma for doing the same thing to Julius way back when.
The same thing? You knocked a pot of soup onto Julius?
Is that why he continually wears a glove? To hide the scar from the burn? I imagine that must have pained you across the years.
Yeah.
I can only guess that Elle must be feeling the same way about hurting you. When you're close with someone, conflicts are bound to occur, but rarely are they strong enough to break the bonds you share.
You're right. That's what a family is.
Profound advice from a man who still can't claim a family of his own, even at this old age.
It may not be too late. Why not start one now?
A tempting invitation, but one I'm afraid I must decline. You all have given me as wonderful a family as I could ever have hoped for. And of course, I include you in that, Luger, as well as Elle.
Damn it.
Don't worry, Rollo. Elle will come back to you.
As soon as she gets hungry, I'm sure.
I wonder if that's really true.
Is this because I killed Victor?
Luger, listen.
Yes, I would imagine that's the primary reason.
Mila.
However, Elle had managed to overcome her fear and sorrow for as long as we've been traveling together. Her soul is old beyond her years. I have no doubt that she understands why you had to fight her father.
Thanks.
If that's true, then Elle will return of her own volition. What's the problem?
The problem is that despite understanding that, she chose to run off by herself. I suspect Luger realizes what that might mean.
Yeah.
Still, Elle will come back, right?
Damn it.
Don't...
I'm sure it is. This is just her being a willful child.
Beasley also said he'd help us find her.
If we make too big a deal out of this, it'll only make her angrier. You know, don't treat me like a child.
That's an uncanny impersonation.
Normally, that's what Elle might have said, yes. But there was nothing normal about her earlier. This is when Elle needs Luger the most. I know she means the world to you.
Mila, it's not like Luger intentionally sent her away.
No, you're right. I apologize. It was not my intention to reprimand you. I just can't look at Elle being so distraught and dismiss it as not being my business. Perhaps her behavior is affecting me more than I initially expected.
Mr. Kresnik, could you verify your current whereabouts? As I mentioned in my text, we would like you to bring the waymarker to Riza Harbor in Marksburg at your earliest possible convenience.
Understood. I'm on my way.
President Bakur is heading there as well. He will provide further instructions. Good luck.
I'm in the middle of a situation here. I'm not a machine.
I am aware of your situation, Mr. Kresnik. However, I have a job to do. Were you a machine, I imagine this would be much easier for you. Regardless, please proceed to Rize Harbor in Marksburg with all due haste.
The land of Canaan has appeared in the sky. I cannot say I anticipated that.
It was there, but it wasn't. Origin must have used the power of the void to seal it away.
So that's the single place among all dimensions where the cycle of reincarnation occurs.
Then I guess that would make it the prime dimension's divergence catalyst.
It looks like there's an embryo inside of it. Is that the Great Spirit Origin?
No, that is the soul purification system itself. Origin should be found within it.
Why does it look like a baby?
That's a fine question. I suppose we'll have to ask Origin.
Well, I'm just relieved that we won't be fighting it.
We will, if we must.
You must be joking.
Do not worry. I fully understand its significance. We will not destroy it.
He's confident we could beat it.
I guess we should be thankful these two are on our side.
We've completed preparations in accordance with directions from President Bakur. Please make your way to the Spirius offices with all due haste. I'll be waiting for you.
So be it.
So, you are able to manifest your chromatus again.
That's Elle's power, isn't it?
Yeah.
I see. So this is the key of Kresnik. The power of the void that El commands, the power of origin, can transcend time and space to reach you.
That's the kind of power we need to resist Kronos. But Luger, if you use your chromatus, won't it hasten El's transformation into a catalyst?
That's why I don't intend to use it again.
So you're resisting for El's sake, although that will make for some difficult battles.
I appreciate what you are prepared to do, but allow me to share with you a story. There was once a weapon in Riza Maxia known as the Lance of Kresnik. It served as both a lance to destroy the balance of the world and a key to open the door to a new one.
And the chromatus is like that too?
Indeed. Luger's power may be the lance that takes El's life, or the key to saving it. It depends entirely on the intentions of the user.
Yeah. I know that it will, but if we don't hurry, El will be in even greater danger.
But wouldn't you be gambling with El's life?
Power is a double-edged sword, and only a warrior who understands that has any business wielding it. Luger, are you prepared to accept the consequences of wielding your power? Very well.
Are you sure about this?
I, too, am prepared to do what must be done. Muse, I would ask the same of you. The harder that you and I fight, the less Luger will have to use his chromatus.
Understood. You can count on me.
We must hurry, Luger. You can thank us when the battle is won.
What is with that Rideau guy? He's repulsive.
He reminds me a bit of the way you used to be.
How dare you? To even suggest that I used to be like that is, well, fairly accurate, I suppose. In those days, I killed many people for the sake of justifying my existence. But all I really wanted was an escape from the insecurity of my own loneliness.
Muse.
It's a past you must never forget.
I know that. I guess I have no business criticizing Rideau.
Do you think Rideau is lonely like that too?
I imagine so. He probably wanted to prove his worth to people like Julius and Beasley.
So he feels the way you once felt towards Mila.
That's quite likely.
Those who don't value others are doomed to flounder in loneliness.
I only wish Rideau could see that.
Expressing sympathy for an enemy? You've changed.
I must have caught the nice guy virus from you-know-who. Or nice spirit, in my case. What is... How... Well, but...
The only Muse I know is the one I'm talking to now.
Why, thank you. That's very kind. But if you knew the real me...
Who you are right now is the real you.
Jude, even you believe that?
We cannot change the past, but there is no need to let our pasts dictate our future. To fully overcome your past, you must accept the spirit you've become.
Yes, I need to do that. After all, I'm not alone anymore. Is it okay to leave Ivor behind like that?
Ivor has been my handmaid since the day he was born. He's devoted his entire life to me. I couldn't bear to impose my will upon him any longer.
Especially when you're not long for the human realm yourself.
I must admit it has been difficult managing without him. Like selecting my clothes, I've always relied on him for that. I made this outfit myself based on garments that Ivor created for me in the past.
They look great on you. Isn't that right, Gaius?
Why would you ask me?
Don't you agree that they suit her well?
Well,
Muse and the Four helped me work out the design. But I suppose it's still a far cry from Ivor's best efforts.
I'm not saying that at all. It's just that as king, I must exercise prudence in expressing my personal opinions.
Then what would be your opinion as a mere civilian, Erston?
As a gentleman, it would be uncouth of me to pass judgment on a lady's personal appearance. But if I must, it is elegant.
Huh?
Elegant?
I'm pleased to hear it. So the 28 design committee meetings I held with the four were of some value after all.
I guess it isn't easy being the Lord of Spirits, either.
Isn't Gaius just adorable? Is it I'm...
Sounds like you two have been through a lot together.
Indeed we have. He's been cleaning the shrine and seeing to my needs since he was younger than El is now. When I would meditate, he would declare that he would protect me and patrol the shrine with a sword that was bigger than he was. Although I often rose from my meditations to find him snoring against a tree.
That's cute, but somehow it makes me jealous.
Do you look after Mila like that in the spirit realm?
Why, yes, of course. I am her big sister, you know.
That's a lie. You do no more than you must. You never clean, and the four and myself are constantly having to take care of you.
I'm not surprised. That's how it went when we were together, too.
Come on, Luger. Don't look at me like that.
Now I understand how difficult poor Ivor had it.
Is that Julius's pocket watch? You brought it back from his dimension?
Must be due to El's powers. You two must still be connected somehow.
But Julius's watch has stopped.
I'm the one who broke it. This watch is Julius himself.
That may be true, but it's hardly the whole story. If you hadn't been around, I bet that watch and Julius would have both stopped long ago.
You think so?
The weakest people are the ones without something to protect. But being willing to work himself to death for someone else, you gotta admire that.
Your brother did what most people couldn't do, and I'm sure you know the reason why.
Yeah. It deserves the rest. It's been dependable to a fault, just like its owner.
Funny you should say that when you're Mr. Dependable yourself. It must run in the family.
Elle's that way too. She never breaks a promise.
Like father, like daughter, huh? You should see yourselves. You all smiled the same way.
We should line you all up and compare.
Then what are we waiting for? We have to find Elle.
Yeah,